Welcome back to the Sutter Podcast. I got my co-host Mark here. I am
Yo.
Victor. How are y'all feeling today? I know we wearing the same clothes. Don't worry about it. We usually do a little costume change. We didn't do it today. We not dirty. Same day.
Yep, literally.
We just shot the
2
episode.
minutes
We're running low on
after.
time. We're gonna do another one. What's going on, Mark? How you feeling?
Feeling good.
You feeling
great.
good?
Yeah, feeling good.
That's
I'm
good.
feeling
That's good.
great.
That's good.
Yeah. How you feeling?
I'm fantastic. You was just asking me before we came on about Jason Derulo.
Jason.
Yeah, he's still doing his TikTok thing. I don't know if he released music, but he murdering this TikTok shit. He getting ad placements and everything. He doing his thing.
Interesting. What's crazy is that the other day my mom was telling me, was it my mom? I think she was listening to somebody. I forget. Somebody who's like, somebody like Jason Derulo, who was like back in the day when we were like listening on the radio, all that.
Hey, and like fucking, what's his name?
Like somebody like,
Who's the guy who made Dynamite? Ain't gonna light it up like it's dynamite. Something Teo or some shit.
yeah, oh God, I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about? But somebody
I know
like
what you're talking
that.
about. But somebody like that, and just like regular people also, like, you know, Neo and all that, like she's over here saying just like, oh, like they haven't made music in like a while.
Because they old, bro.
And it's like they're old, but it's also that idea of like I was just like, I mean, they're just probably producing or doing other side
writing for
projects,
people
writing
and-
stuff, and it's like they're more like, oh, we don't even care about having the spotlight. Like, it's
Nah,
on
they
this-
just make them. They made their
make their
money.
money,
They still making
yeah.
money off the current music.
Yeah,
And
And
I
it-
feel like anything after this point that they're like too old to, unless they go to a mature audience, is gonna be corny.
yeah.
Like you can't make music for kids anymore, basically, or like teenage,
Because
whatever.
I mean, we are that audience, and it's already too late.
Yeah,
and
you got to switch to that like Childish Gambino route where he went full on like oldies type of style. Like you,
Yeah, and it's just what I guess nowadays our age group is like listening to. It's really kind of jittering more to like hip hop, and it's just just kind of that range, and
Yeah.
they're just not the people that really do that. So
once
Yeah.
if an artist is able to stop trying to act young, they can keep evolving as they get older.
Yeah.
But if they try to stick to that, like where they're like 40 and still trying to like do like flow rider type of music,
True.
like that shit not gonna fly. Like they're not gonna last. It shows through. If you just make music for your age group and like stay true to you, you can keep going with it.
yeah, it's not gonna be as easy, but it's possible. But I just think it's funny that like Flow Rider is literally Florida. It's just
Yeah.
I can't. That John still boggles my mind. Like I'm like, why?
Like you can make music that's relevant to you and somebody will resonate with it.
True.
Like, you know what's funny to me? Like, and I don't want to go into this whole rant about this, and we're gonna keep pushing on our regular topic. But like with Logic's recent album, his whole complaint was like, oh, like y'all mad that I was. He kept talking about the topic of people getting upset with him with trying to make turn up music and shit that was just like fucking bitches and doing all this other stuff, and it just people thought it didn't fit him well. Me personally, I agree with it. I thought he could have stopped at like everybody, and he would have been placed a whole lot higher because he was just forcing a lot of shit. Like I go hard every day. Yeah, that shit was garbage to me. But he released the song Dad Bod, and he's just like, oh, like what the fuck you want me to talk about? Like I wake up, I take care of my son, I do this, I do that. Like you can talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are people that are 18 that do that shit. Like they can resonate with that
People
stuff.
that can relate. Yeah.
As long as it's true to you, like somebody will agree with it. And if they don't agree with it now, they're Logic fans because of your other shit. Once they get to that age and they listen to it, like damn, like that shit hit home. That shit hits home to me.
I see what he was talking about, man.
Like, so as long as you like, you don't gotta fake what you talk about. Like you could just talk about whatever you want to. But back to Jason Derulo. Yeah, he's making his money. Not as an artist anymore, but he's doing his thing.
Oh yeah, I was just like, because just thinking about like TikTok, I'm just like, wow, like, because I remember people would post about all the shit, like, not even on TikTok. Like you see it on Instagram or something like that, and they're like, oh my god, like, why is he doing like all this crazy amount of effects and stuff like that on TikTok? Like, how is he like this good and all this stuff like that? And I just like haven't seen shit like that, so I was just like wondering. I'm like, did he just stop?
Nah, he's still. I don't follow him, but I see him on ads like as I swipe through. But yeah, he's killing it. Another person that's like high key killing it that I've been seeing more of is like fucking King Batch. Like he be getting placements for like little shows and like movies. And I seen him in a music video for Doja Cat and Saweetie's song Best Friend. He was like the guy like in the video like at the beginning.
I'm trying to remember. He was in a movie or show, I think. I know
Yeah,
he's
he had
always.
a
I know
couple
he's
things.
he's already been in some movies, but it was something recently. I remember I saw him. I can't remember what it is, but I was just like, wow, like, you don't. And it's good to have that, But I mean, and I wouldn't know though because I don't follow him. So maybe he did probably pipe it up if he was like in a movie, like, oh, make sure you go watch it or something like
He's
that.
been in a couple though. There's no
Yeah,
bullshit. He's had a
but it's
couple
just
movies.
like, it is. I feel like it's really humble and interesting to see somebody or yourself and stuff that you probably didn't even hype up, and like you're just watching, you're just like, oh wow,
They're doing their
like
thing.
he's in there, like he's in this or he's in that. 'Cause
And I
yeah,
don't know if we've talked about this before, but he's like a real actor. Like he went to
yeah,
like an art school and shit.
Mhm.
Like he knows what he's doing.
yeah,
But yeah, he's doing his thing. One thing about him, not really his fault, but it kind of pissed me off, and I'll bring it up in a second. But he's doing his thing. He's getting movie placements and all that stuff. The other kid, they remember that old Vine is like, "What's up? I'm Josh. I'm 19. Never fucking learned how to read."
yeah.
He's like doing directing with Netflix and like acting in some shows too, bro. Like the reason I know this. I mean, I kind of knew that he was talented, but another part of me was like, I see some of these people. I'm like, yo, how do they make money? Because they're not posting as much, and
Mhm.
I don't know if they went regular jobs or they're doing something else. But him in particular, like he acted in a movie or I think it was a movie on Hulu. They got nominated. He got nominated for an award for it. Again, it was a couple other people that like notable people in it. And he had a big role. And then he's directing with Netflix. He wrote a show with Netflix and something else. But he's like doing his thing. But the reason was funny about him is that like I like moderately like kept up with him some of his stuff like on YouTube, and like he would have like his friend group, some of the same people. He released a video like last week that it's been like 3 years since he posted on his channel. He's basically talking about like what he's done, and I like looked it up because I didn't believe it, and he genuinely like because usually he's sarcastic, he genuinely was doing all this shit. But the reason he came back and did the video, he's like, yo, like I've been on struggling with drugs all this time, and like I right now like usually he'll do good and then relapse and do that over and over. But he's like, right now I feel like I'm in a better place where I don't feel the need to like relapse or like anything like that. But he was just
Good.
talking about that. He's like, oh, like I'm back, like I'm gonna be making stuff. But he's doing his thing, bro. It's awesome.
No, yeah. That's what I was saying. Like, it's very humbling when you see people that you don't hear about, like you know of, but you don't hear about, and you just like you start seeing like, oh, they did this, they did that, and it's almost like kind of like behind the scenes in a sense. And you don't always got to be in such the spotlight. Just
Yeah,
do your thing, and perfect your craft,
yeah.
and you people will see it eventually, and I feel like that's pretty cool.
And the reason I think that way is because like a lot of times where I think like, oh, like how they making money, because it's like a lot of these people like made us laugh. So I'm like, oh, I hope they're doing good. Like I hope that they
Yeah.
didn't fall off and they're just struggling. So like even with like Casey Fry and shit and like all those other people, like they don't post often, but I'm like, oh, like how are they doing?
Mhm.
And like I know what's his name, Nick Coletti.
I know the
He
name.
was
Just
like,
can't
what the
picture
fuck is up, Kyle? Like
Yeah,
shut the fuck up, him.
Got you.
And like a bunch of his other, he's fucking hilarious. But
Yeah.
one thing I don't know what he's doing. I mean, he might be doing podcasts as well, but I know he also was doing before COVID. He was doing stand up.
Okay.
Like he was doing like small like bars in like New York and like comedy clubs and shit. So that's cool if they see him do as well. Like he's pursuing that, and he used to struggle with drugs as well. A lot of them did. But
Funny people.
what another thing to stay on this topic, I guess. I seen a tweet that was like, oh, y'all be hyping up Vine, but this was like the Vines that y'all talking about or whatever.
Yeah,
And
I was gonna bring that
and I'm
up.
just like, that's so like invalid. That's cherry picking because they showed like Lele Pons and
Yeah,
fucking
and
King Batch.
Yeah.
Even when Vine was on, people thought that shit was corny.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was just a fact. Like we would like even as we were actively watching this, at least me and you, we'd be like, yo, this shit is ass.
Bro, we knew our go-to people on Vine.
And,
we knew our go-to people.
And that's kind of dumb. Then this very much cherry picking to like try and uplift TikTok. Because if you really think about it, a lot of people that are talking on TikTok, popping on TikTok and other platforms came from Vine.
Yep.
Ricky Thompson, Daniel Opriori, and his brother Michael Opriori.
Yep.
Then you have Zachary Piona. Then you have Cody Ko and Noel Miller that they do like the That's Cringe shit.
Yep.
Then you have Nick Coletti. Then you have Getter, who's like a rapper now. That's like his friend. They're all on that show together. They used to work together on that show on Facebook, where it's the baby. And like keep staring at me like that little stupid little face. Like all those guys, they came from Vine.
Yeah.
And I'm forgetting a bunch of other people, but like Denzel Dion and like Wolf Tyler, she's like doing music and like, bro, like Vine had some people that they were genuine and they were killing it. Fucking Demetrius Harmon, he's doing the You Matter hoodies and he does his videos. And his friend D'Angelo.
Yeah.
But or Dope Island is what his tag was.
That's right. Yeah.
He makes music and like these were all people that were funny and like they're even doing their own things even up to now.
Yeah.
So like to say, oh, King Bach and the Lepons, they're like this other shit, like that's dumb to me. And even Anwar, the like that I forget what he's like what the fuck is that? Mediterranean. He's like a Mediterranean guy. Like he did the one video like, oh, when you run into your barber and you got another cut and like the guy like smells his neck and shit.
Yeah, yeah.
That guy.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
doing
I
his own
remember
thing as well. He
seeing
just
that
opened a
shit.
restaurant.
Wow.
Yeah, like they doing their own thing. So like I didn't like that I know it was on purpose to like make a point or like try and like make a joke, but like when you think about it, like Vine really did a lot. And like Vine,
Yeah.
if there was no Vine, there was no TikTok. Period.
Oh, for sure. Vine, like you said, I feel like that just like opened the scene and just gave that, you know, space for those people to kind of get noticed, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it really did. It really was like that thing, like, oh, you know, it was an opportunity that nobody thought could kind of like
Bounce on or
bounce,
yeah.
like that could create something like this for
And if you
people
did,
like that.
and by the time you did, it was too late. Like, it was,
Yeah,
because
it
even
was.
Lele Pons right now, she does like music too, I think, and
does
she gets
music.
like, her numbers are crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just that idea where it was like it was a great opportunity, and you know people probably thought at the time it was just like a thing to just pass the time, you know.
But now,
But
even
it's
now
like-
with TikTok,
Yeah,
even with TikTok, like
it's the same thing.
it's the same thing. Even though like I feel like right now, it's pretty easy to like get discovered on there. Like,
yeah, like I was
the
about to
For You
say that
page.
it's like a 2.0 of Vine where like getting discovered is so much easier. Like because this generation
It's
now,
getting more difficult as it gets more popular, but the discoverability
Oh,
is
yeah.
higher. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just that idea of like how social media is now, and a lot of younger kids are using, you know, electronics and phones. Back when Vine, it was like, yeah, you had some, but it was just like kind of like us in, what was it, middle school or high school?
High school mostly.
Yeah, like high school. And, you know, it was just that. It was just kind of like a teenager type thing, you know, that was it. But now it's like you see young kids,
You see
teenagers, adults,
like
old
old-
heads.
Yeah,
like
like-
you're getting the whole age group, and you're just like sitting there like, damn, like I can't believe this person's doing this.
and it's a lot more educational. I mean, also because of like Vine being a shorter span.
Yeah. And
But what TikTok is very educational as well. It's not even like you can see funny shit. You can see like minute tutorials and like or like style suggestions or cooking videos,
people are literally
history
getting
lessons
their
or-
food and stuff from TikTok.
Yeah,
and all that stuff.
cooking
so.
ideas, like all that shit. So it's really dope. But yeah. So I would say that give them both their credit because there's some shitty people on TikTok as well that you could say like, oh, like these like, oh, you can say like, oh, TikTok is so great, but these corny people are on here as well.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing I get annoyed about on TikTok, and if my thing is like everybody makes their thing different, so I understand that. But my whole thing is like I remember from the very beginning when I saw it was like just the idea of like people kind of reuse the sounds and do the same thing. Like that can kind of get annoying, but again, somebody can make it into their own and kind of
That's where it
change
was.
it around.
That's where I saw it be good. There are some times where people blatantly copy.
Yeah, and it's
But
just I'd be like,
There are some
"Ugh."
times where they just take the same sound and flip it to a whole new joke, and I'm like, yo, that was good.
Yeah, and that like when you see something like that, you're like, okay, cool. Or when you see somebody take it probably like, you know, even further and make it funnier than what the original did, like they just go even more exaggerative, like that can be funny. But when you just literally see the same mood, style, and everything, when I see that, I'm just like, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
why? Like, and then when I see the views and all the likes, I'm like, bro, I feel like y'all accidentally stepped on this, like y'all found this and just liked it, but I'm like, y'all should go to the original and show that
I make a
more,
point
like-
of I check that as well because some people are good at lip singing, and I'm like, oh, or if I'll see, I'm like, yo, I've seen this idea already, so like, I'm not gonna like it.
yeah.
But
So
yeah,
it's like,
it's
yeah.
definitely trendy as well, like where you can find like a common joke or common trend and people overdo
So
it.
that's
but
just like the one thing I get a little annoyed about. But I mean, like again, it's fine because I remember too in Vine that was such a big thing. Like if you took somebody's Vine, you had to give them credit.
yeah,
Otherwise, they would be on your ass. Like it was
Yeah.
crazy. I remember that. I forget who it was, but I remember I was seeing like,
but that's good though. I liked that.
yeah, that was like it made sense because I
So you
remember
were like, like this person did it. You're not gonna tag them though. The fuck
Yeah.
are you doing? Like they
like,
would be in your comment squad
bro,
deep.
their followers will be like, yo, what the fuck? Like, they'll go to that person and get them the like the information. And I'm just like, yo,
This person stole your stuff. Like,
Yeah, I'll be like, yo.
but that's fire.
It is like, and it's crazy to see that loyalty, and it's crazy to see that like, you know, because there's no copyrighted thing on there. It's like, like somebody could literally take your idea and a whole big ass other group can see it and not know where it originally
Mhm.
came from, and it just be stolen that easily. But yeah, that's the one thing I remember in Vine. It was really funny. And I remember like the one time I saw it, it was like a big thing at one point because the person was taking multiple of their ideas, and I was just like, wow, like
Yeah, blatantly doing it.
so yeah, I remember we had to do that with some of our videos, making sure like we put like our logo and stuff like that, just because we didn't want other people like if they were to see our like our
Yeah.
ideas and make their own videos on it. We had did that at one point, so it was just like yeah, like people take people's
And we
ideas.
still doing allocate. Look at the bottom right. You don't see that little
Yeah,
ETC logo on there?
exactly,
We know.
exactly,
Don't try that
exactly.
shit.
Don't try it. I mean, it'd be really weird to kind of just take our video, but
Yeah.
yeah, don't do it.
I was like, when I was trying to list off different people that like Vine gave us,
Yeah.
and then we were talking about like Jason Derulo killing it. You know who's not killing it that came from Vine? Fucking David Dobrik. Did you see that shit? You seen
Yeah.
what's been going on with
I
that?
haven't,
His shit crumbled fast.
but what? Like
Basically his whole setup
from
in general, bro.
like
Like,
just like okay. See, I was thinking like if it was like for something specific.
so what happened is, you remember like, and I'll admit, me and Quinn were bigger fans than like
Yeah.
keeping tabs on and watching the vlogs back then,
Mm.
where he would do shit. And even at the time I was watching, I'm like, this is really like weird and very forced. And I saw that he was basically like, instead of actually vlogging, he'd be like setting up his friends to do dumb shit for content.
Shit, yeah.
And that always bothered me. But like at the time I was entertained, so I didn't.
Yeah,
I just left it at that.
that was just my whole thing. Like, it's not that I didn't give him credit and anything like that. It just felt like because I saw some of the videos, like I did. Like, I'm not gonna say like I never watched anything and I just didn't like him. Like I was being a hater. Like I saw some of the videos and it just felt like when I was watching it, it just didn't feel like it was something that seemed like some of them just didn't seem genuine, and it just
When they
seemed,
never were really.
and then, like you
for the
said,
most
like
part.
some of them seemed forced, and I just felt like it wasn't like a video.
It was
felt
very
like
orchestrated.
yeah, and it felt like it was something almost as if it was like a private video. Like it just didn't feel like it was something that should have been posted online. It just felt like it was just in the moment it should have been happening, which is a good idea though, because you feel like you're there too. So I mean, I don't know. That was my whole thing, but it's not like I hated him, and seeing that he was like recently I saw that he was on Twitch and stuff like that. I felt like that was pretty
he
cool.
was. I guess after the whole thing, I guess he couldn't do daily vlogs anymore. He jumped to Twitch and he was streaming like every night.
Yeah, and I felt like that was pretty cool. Like I could see that it wasn't just like he saw a wall and he quickly
Pivoted.
So I felt like that was pretty cool.
He not doing that. No
But
he not doing that no more. So I don't know how much you know about the story, but basically, while he was doing those videos, and there's like obviously what's kind of
which videos? The ones where he
his
was like
vlogs.
vlogging? Okay.
The good and bad of vlogging is that there's video evidence of everything you did and where you were on a certain day.
Hold on, I just want to say this real quick. I am so hungry. My stomach has been growling like 5 times already. So if y'all hear it, I'm sorry.
I haven't heard anything, but we got like
yeah.
10 minutes. You go.
I'm just saying, I can feel it now. It's like, yo, you pushing it.
We'll take you to get some Burger King. But yeah, the only bad thing about vlogging is that there's video evidence of where you were on what day at what time, and if you do something bad, there's literal physical evidence. We catch you in 4K, as the kids
4K,
say.
Yeah. He called you in 4K. Yo, little kids, man.
But yeah, so somebody came out during those times where he was all those videos, like there'd be like Dirty Dom and like all those people, like they will hook up with girls or they will party and like throw parties and do stuff like that, or like go to frat houses. I guess somebody came out again. I don't know super specific stuff because I haven't followed him in a while. But somebody came out and was like, basically, I got sexually assaulted by somebody in that crew, and a lot of stuff started coming out because we found out that they weren't old enough to drink, and that basically they were under the age for alcohol.
Girls?
Yeah, the girls, they were drunk and like having sex and getting sexually assaulted. So they were underage to drink. I don't know if they were underage, like under 18. That's why I don't want to say that part because I'm not entirely sure. But I know that they weren't old enough to drink, and they were the girl in particular that like sparked this whole situation. She came out and like, I guess, she said her part, and like she's rightfully so. So I'm not saying that she shouldn't have come out and said that she got assaulted because that's fucked up. And anybody, if it did happen, and then those people should be punished for it. But this person came out and basically said that they were sexually assaulted. They were given drinks even though they weren't old enough to drink. And there's a picture, or I don't know if it's a screenshot or a picture, but they're like outside of one of their apartment buildings or like a hotel or something like that.
Mhm.
And it's like David Dobrik and then Todd was another person who was on their team or like a
Mhm.
part of their group, and then Jeff Wittick or something like that. And there's in that picture that they're standing in the background, there's like a group of girls, and one of them is holding up another girl who's clearly like blacked out drunk,
Mhm.
and she was underage. So she came. That picture came out, and like all those allegations came out. So that kind of sparked everything.
Mhm.
And Jeff Wittick, he went on Ethan Klein's and Trisha Paytas's podcast, which is H3H3. I don't know if you know who that is, but it's
I
somebody on
don't
YouTube.
think I do.
You probably have seen their face before, but
Most likely,
they went on
yeah.
a podcast and like to address it, and he basically drilled them with questions, and Jeff had no like he tried to make up a story, like try to have a response, and it was just very clear that like that's not the case, and like he was very nervous and things didn't look well
Mm.
because he tried to lie about it, and they'd be like, "Yo, like this is a screenshot of the picture." You know, like on iPhones, if you take a picture, it tells you like what day it was
What
taken and
day,
time.
sometimes location as well.
Yeah. So then Tim like, oh, like I wasn't there at that time. I was like, all right, what times were you there for? And he said it, and he's like, oh, well, right here in the screenshot it says 1:23 in the morning. Like you were there, you're in the photo. Like stop lying. And he would just he'd be shit, like he'd just be shocked. He'd have be speechless.
That's crazy, bro. Yeah.
And ever since things are just looking bad, he's been getting shit. David's been getting shit. Basically anybody associated with that, or at least in the photos, been getting shit on for it. And all the other people that are like used to be associated with him or used to be a part of the vlog squad are most likely, I will say, they probably were a part of all this stuff because they were part of this group and partying with them, and I'm sure that they were aware. But now that shit's burning down, they're trying to save themselves. Have
Yeah.
released videos saying like, "Oh, we don't condone what happened," and like this is my point of view, and like I didn't know, or like, and at any point in time, for the most part, if you were consistently in those vlog squad videos,
Yeah.
you knew what was going on, and you didn't say anything until now.
Most likely.
Even if they say otherwise. Because if you weren't there, you most likely heard about it.
Yeah.
Because you guys are friends, so you guys work together, and you guys are probably off camera talking about shit that y'all did or missed out on, and y'all are constantly in conversation about making videos.
Yeah.
So y'all knew in some degree, and anybody who's trying to say like, oh, even if they say they don't condone it, at least probably now they're saying that to save their ass, and I'm sure they probably do, but they didn't say anything at the time. So I'm not saving anybody who said anything that was like, yo, like, who put these apology videos out.
But it's just that idea of like, if you did hear it, you probably, even if it wasn't like you said, like if you were frequently there, but you know the idea of like, oh, you heard something, but you probably tried to block it out, like, oh, I didn't hear that, or you you probably saw something and you were just like, oh, okay, let's not worry about it. But again, it's that idea.
You didn't
like,
speak up.
You didn't speak up. You didn't say anything, and it's just, yeah, it's like, are they ever gonna get caught? Like you said, since they were frequently there, they most likely knew about it. But who knows? But you'll be able to probably figure it out if you really dig deep into it. But
so yeah, so a lot of these people release
crazy.
videos like saying like, oh, I don't condone it, I didn't know, or just bullshit. And some of them maybe not bullshit. But also David released his own. I didn't watch it. But people are making fun of him because he's like on the floor talking about it, and like he's like crying and like just trying to like shitty YouTuber apology of what we've seen over the years. And people were comparing because the girl Trisha Paytas is another person who used to be a part of the Vlog Squad, but before stuff went bad or anything, like a couple months before shit got shut down, all that stuff, she had a falling out with that group, where like basically accusing him like, oh, like manipulating the group and like just being weird, and like she stopped fucking with them and she would talk shit about them. And that group used to make fun of her, and like basically because she left the group and all this other shit. And she released an apology video, or like a video when she came at them crying and sitting down on the floor doing the same thing as David did, and people compared it and thought it was funny.
That's probably why.
Yeah. And one thing I also want to mention is that literally all of his sponsors dropped him. Every single one. SeatGeek, Audible, Honey, all those major ones that you hear all the time that he plugs or like other people will plug, all dropped them.
Hope y'all use those codes because you ain't gonna use them now. But I just find that crazy too that you say that, because I remember the last big thing I remember he did was like buy a house. I think I saw.
Yeah,
that
he recently moved.
Yeah, like he moved and he got a bigger house. So I just like thinking like, damn, like
Well, I'm sure he has money saved up. Like it's
hope
not.
he does. Yeah,
I'm sure he's good. He
He's
makes
good.
way too much. because he does his merch and he does the podcast, he
And
does
he
live
gives away
shows, he does
Teslas. So
but those are probably the sponsors.
yeah,
People using the codes. He was Twitch streaming, so he got subs
yeah,
out the ass
yeah.
and donations.
Yeah, I just think that's crazy that he, you know.
He has the money. I'm not worried about him, but yeah, it's,
I just feel like in my head it's like it's kind of like, oh, you always got to like look out for stuff like that because, you know, like I'm not saying it can't happen, you know, for you to just constantly keep going up and up and up and just always reaching your peak, but it's just like to see somebody like that go up all the way up to their peak and being that famous, doing so good, and then kind of like out of nowhere this curveball just hits and you're just
Yeah.
like, wait, what? And you're just like kind of like, the hell? Like you didn't even know this, or shit sneaks up on you. So I just like, that's pretty crazy. But you just gotta question it sometimes, you know. See, it sucks, but you know, it's your fault. I mean, I don't know what to say. Like, I'm not gonna back up anything as far as like defend you. You know, if you deliberately did something like that, you know, I'm not gonna defend you on that. So
yeah, you just gotta stay on the right. Like no matter how big things get, you gotta stay. Your moral compass gotta be good. Like you
yeah,
can't fall
don't
off that
think
path.
because you
Just keep
yeah.
stay on the good side, and shit can never like go bad for you.
Just don't think, oh, because you have this money and you have this fame, you know, you have this like power of like, oh, I can do whatever I want kind of deal, you know.
Don't work like that.
It don't. And if you think it does, and you think you get away with it, it's gonna come out. Like, you know, it's gonna happen. Don't do stuff you're not supposed to do. I don't know.
Yeah. Shit's unfortunate. I mean, I also want to say like I feel bad for the person that was affected, the
Yeah.
survivor of what happened. I'm on your side. I don't give a fuck about them. They again at the time before all this stuff came
Exactly.
out, I thought they were somewhat funny and I enjoyed their videos a little bit. Gave me something to watch. But if this stuff is like certified as true, fuck those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was always Mr. Beast type of guy.
Don't.
Yo, chill. That's what I was going through my head. But chill. I know. I hope. I
Yeah.
hope. I hope my man's Jimmy is never going, you know, down that route, you know, that path. But that's my boy. So yeah. It's just crazy to hear something like that happen, you know. I feel bad.
This is exactly why I don't like to admire or like have crazy idols like that, because I just know at the end of the day they're all regular people. So like they're all into some fucked up shit. Like there's probably something fucked up about them.
There's something, yeah.
That's why I had the conversation. I was like with somebody the other day, and I was just thinking like I don't know if I want to meet some of the people that I like. I enjoy their music or whatever, like, because even then it would be cool, and like most likely it would be because of something I'm doing well as well. Like obviously, like if we're successful, we're probably gonna meet other people that are successful.
Relatable, yeah. Relatability.
But like to hang out with them personally, I'm worried that there's gonna get ruined for me. Of
Because
just
you're
like
gonna
me meeting them, and I'm just like, oh my god, like yo, I love your shit, and they just yeah, like I'm just like, bro, like
yeah.
I used to look up to you, and now I see you here,
And now I
all
see
fucked
you,
up, or
and
either you're on drugs or you're an asshole or like
yeah,
some crazy shit.
There's some people that I wouldn't say like look up to, but I just find like very admirable, and I'm like, wow, like they're doing either very well or they're just like the way they live their life is just, it's like simple. They're keeping to themselves and they're just doing their thing and doing good. And I like you can see that like, okay, they might have done something, but not like as crazy as that. Like maybe it was just some
like
little
drugs
thing they
or
did,
like something weird with kids.
Yeah, or like something like that.
Sexual assault or
maybe
anything.
they did something as far
or being rude.
as like they did something very small. Who knows? But like that person, I can see in a whole was like very good, you know. And there's some people out there that are like that for sure.
Everybody makes mistakes.
Exactly.
Everybody makes mistakes.
But there's just some people that you just, you know, can't believe. You know, one day you're looking at them like, wow, you know, I really like this person. I admire them. I want to be just like them. And then
like look at even like with like athletes, you'll see like it's like, oh, like, yeah, you're a superstar. And then even right now, at this very moment, but you see videos like, they'll find out they hit their wife or some shit, or like they cheat on their wife. Or Deshaun Watson, he has like 20 allegations from like massage therapists or physical therapists that he like sexually assaulted them. And like at first I was like, yo, like because the timing of it was very weird. So he plays for the Houston Texans, and the organization as a whole has been very shitty at how they run it, and they've been trading players that like would help him, and like they've just been handling things terribly. So after the season, he finally asked to be traded, and then shortly after he asked to be traded, all this stuff came out about him sexually assaulting these women, or like it was one person at first, and then, but then somehow kind of felt iffy about it because it came out that the lawyer that is prosecuting him or accusing him with the person that he did it to, they were the neighbor or like lived in the neighborhood of the owner of the team. So people were kind of like, it's probably grimy because he's like talking bad about the team and trying to leave. But now I don't know, it's getting kind of difficult to like be on Deshaun Watson's side now because it's getting close to like 20 people have come out.
Oh, no. Yeah, he's not getting out of there.
Yeah. So
that's a lot.
I will say, like, if you did something like that, or like if you're accusing somebody of doing that, then I will, like, I'm not gonna disregard and say, like, you know, some people are like, oh, like she's lying. Like, I'm not gonna say that the initial woman was lying or things like that. One, it's possible if it's just one person, it's possible for you to be innocent and like maybe the person is lying.
Yeah, like you got some.
But once
room.
it reaches to like once it gets to 2, it's like
yeah,
now things look bad. And as it gets higher, once you get close to 20, it's like, all right, you did that shit,
bro. Yeah, bro. When it gets past like 3,
you did something wrong.
You're like, okay, this can't be a coincidence. You know, like something's happening. You know that needs to be looked at.
Yeah, with one person, I can be like, all right, like I won't prosecute them yet. I won't accuse.
Yeah,
I won't say it for official, like for sure. Yeah, I'll leave them a sliver of doubt if it's just one person, because you know things can happen. People can lie. People get into arguments, and even the circumstance of him trying to leave the team makes it like, oh, like this could be a lie. But now that it's gotten so high of a number, it's like it's kind of hard to.
It's hard to ignore.
Yeah,
it's just like, okay, something's up, bro.
So yeah, watch your idols, people.
Watch your idols.
Well, both our cameras are on the verge of dying, so we're running short on time. So, Mark, where can they find you?
Find me on Instagram at ETC Marky Mark, Twitter at Marky Mark, Twitch at MC Marky Mark, Victor, where can they find you, and etc.
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at ETC Victor, as well as all other social platforms. Same thing for Instagram same thing for etc. is all platforms at real etc. Our email is real.etc@gmail.com. Cheesesteak Factory, hit my line. Anybody else want to hit Cinnamon Toast Crunch, hit his line. He'll save you guys.
Without some shrimp in it?
Yeah.
We good.
Cool. We love you guys.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week. Bye.